Hello guys and welcome back to some Frosti-Town. Today we're going to be making a sci-fi environment scene. So let's get right down into it. So we're going to scale this on the x-axis, we're going to scale this on the y-axis. We're going to press shift A, we're going to create a plane S8, nope, S8. I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to scale it on the y-axis to right about there. Alright, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into box cutter and we're gonna select the cube, we're gonna select the circle, and we're gonna press G and we're gonna bring it to right about here, and we're gonna scale it up. Okay, I get it. D and view. And we're gonna do it like this. So we have something like this, and I'm gonna press Q, we're gonna sharpen this guy, and we're gonna go here and we're gonna keep it to object mode. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. Keep it to view. I'm gonna press shift A, we're gonna create a UV sphere and we're gonna give it 300 words, or maybe let's just sharpen this, bring it up, scale it down to right about there, bring it right about here. So we have something like this. Alright, now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into view mode, we're gonna select the n-gon, and we are going to go straight up. Go straight up like this. And we're going to extrude this guy inwards, and we have something like this. Alright, now the next thing what we should be doing is we're gonna create a cube. I'm gonna bring it up, I'm gonna scale it on the x-axis to right about there. I'm gonna scale it down to right about here. Scaled on the x-axis, and we're gonna scale it down so we have something like this. We're gonna shift D this, we're gonna bring it here, and we are going to rotate this to right about here. We are going to set up our camera, Control Alt 0, Shift and tilde, to right about here. Let's bring this down a bit, or maybe scaled on the z-axis and bring it down. Scaled on the z-axis, bring it down. And let's scale it up. Scale it down. Scale it a little bit more down. And bring it here. I'm going to Shift D this, bring it here. I'm going to scale it to right about here. Okay, so the next thing what we should be doing is we're gonna add some cuts to this. So we're gonna go here into object mode. I'm gonna click this guy and bring this here. I'm gonna do some random cuts, and I'm gonna sharpen this guy. Alright, now the next thing what we should be doing is we're gonna select this guy and we're gonna give it some metallic texture. Let's just save this. Give it a bluish color, and let's scale it inwards to right about there, and let's bring this to right about here. Alright, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna give this Kevlar, and we are going to select these phases, and we are gonna give it an emission, maybe an orange one, and give it a strength of 20. I'm gonna select these phases and I'm gonna give it the same. No. There we go. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go into shading tab. I'm gonna save this guy. I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna select this guy and we're gonna add a musgrave texture. I'm gonna add a color ramp Gonna add this here, and I'm gonna add this into the roughness. I'm gonna bring the color down, detail up, dimension down, and make it a little bit smooth. I'm gonna select this guy and maybe just bring it a little bit upwards. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna press Shift A. We're gonna create a mix shader, and we're gonna create a emission shader. I'm gonna plug the emission into the shader, and we're gonna create a color ramp. I'm gonna put the color into the factor, and well, how did I do this? Okay. Okay. Add a Voronoi. Put the color into the factor. I'm gonna keep the emission to 50, and we're gonna add a musgrave texture. I'm gonna add the height into the vector, and we're gonna give it teal blue color. And we're gonna bring it down to right about there. And we're gonna bring the scale down a bit, detail up, and we're gonna bring the dimensions up. I'm going to world settings, and I'm going to bring the world settings down, so we have something like this. Alright, the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna go back into the layout, and maybe if we click this guy and remove the Kevlar texture, and we add a noise texture, we add a bump node. I'm just messing around, and we put the factor into the height, bring the base color down, bring the detail up, and bring the roughness to right about there. And we add a color ramp, bring it into roughness, bring it right about here. I'm gonna add the same thing here. That's more like it. So there we go. Alright. So we have something like this. I'm gonna go into camera, we're gonna bring this back a little bit and maybe a little bit closer to right about there. Alright, the next thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna go into cable arrayer. We're gonna create a cable. And we're gonna select this guy. We're gonna bring this down here to right about there, and we're gonna give it Kevlar. And we are going to draw another cable. Next thing what we're gonna do is we're gonna import an FBX. I'm gonna add a kneeling guy, and we're gonna bring it to right about here. We're gonna scale him down, and we are going to rotate him to right about here. I'm gonna bring him here a little bit backwards, and the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna create an empty, and we're gonna focus the empty on him to right about there, maybe just a little bit backwards here. We're gonna go into our camera, depth of field, empty, and bring it to right about there. Let's save this. And there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, share, and as always, stay frosty. And wait a minute, sorry, we need to delete the light. There we go. So there you go, guys. Again, if you enjoyed this tutorial, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, share. As always, stay frosty, and Frosti-Town signing out.